Hi Vanessa Rock, the girl on a bike. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I've got a buddy on the back. So we are going to be talking about things that you need to think about to be safe, legal and not stupid when it comes to having kids and children on the back of a motorcycle. So welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're here for the first time. I like to try and share some of my knowledge of riding motorbikes with you, and so this is a video about having kids on the back of a motorcycle. Now obviously I have a little 15-month-old Skylar. She's not quite big enough to go on the back, which will become a little bit more apparent as we go through. So Chase here, my buddy down under, I'm in Australia, is here. And there's a whole load of boring stuff that I've got to get through, which us adults need to think about. So if you want to get off and go and hang out for a little bit, and I'm going to do some of the boring check, and then we're going to go for a ride. Does that sound good? Right, I'll hold the bike while you get off. We're going to use pineapple. No, grapefruit. Let's use grapefruit. I'll explain grapefruit to you in a minute, and you will understand exactly what I'm talking about. But having a grapefruit is vital. Now, as a rider of a motorcycle, you are 100% responsible for the ride, the bike, yourself, your legalities, and of course your passenger on the back. I do have a full video on my channel about top tips for riding with a pillion. There's going to be a little bit of a crossover, but there's a lot more depth in that video, so it's worth checking that out if you're going to be riding with someone on the back. Now, the first thing that I really want to emphasize about taking someone on the back is the importance of safety. There's a few things that we're going to talk about in the video, but safety is really important for yourself and for them. And as I've said, you are the responsible adult in the scenario. So mindset comes into that. It's very easy to think you've got your kid on the back, let's show off, let's go really fast, let's go on a big adventure and take some massive corners. But you've got to think about their safety on the back, and you've got to think about their mindset and whether you're going to scare them, and more on that in a minute as well. Now, the legal requirements is probably the foundation. Can you take your kid on the back of the motorcycle? Now, that is going to depend a little bit on where you are in the world. There are laws in pretty much every single country in the world regards to taking kids on the back, and they can be really strict. Now, laws are one of those things that not every country maybe sticks to and abides by. I have certainly been to many countries in the world where you see a whole family on one motorcycle, but it's about thinking about what is legal and what's safe and what you're willing to do risk-wise. Now, in the UK, Australia and the USA, the laws between having someone on the back are relatively similar. You're always going to need to have a legal approved helmet, and often that is a requirement. Even in states in America, you don't need a helmet. For kids, it is required. The child is going to have to be able to reach the foot pegs. So when they're sat on the back of the seat, if their feet cannot reach the foot pegs, that is a no-go. You can't then take them on the back. I have heard of modified foot pegs to make the foot pegs higher so a kid with shorter legs can maybe fix them. You've got to take into a little bit of your risk appetite. The main thing you want to think about is whether they are safe enough to be able to hold on for themselves. But the peg requirement, the helmet, are really, really important. In America, there are some slightly different laws in the different states. I just recommend you really do a bit of research for where you live and what those requirements are. But being able to hold on is really important. Now, this bike, I've got a big KTM adventure bike here, has some really nice big handles on the back that the pillion can hold on to. I personally, when I go on a motorcycle, really don't feel too safe holding on to things behind me, because when you accelerate or brake, their body is going to be moving around. I'm like being a monkey. I always just grab hold to the person in front of me. That's where having a relationship with the person that's on there is going to be important, and their trust. Make sure that they feel confident and know where they can hold on. That's going to come into a later point as well. And just thinking about whether it is a nice seat for them. Now, lots of different motorcycles have very different pillion seats. If you are on a sports bike, that rear seat is going to be tiny, super high, have a lot less to hold on to. Is that going to be a nice first experience for a potential new budding biker? And I would say one of the things that the motorcycle industry doesn't really do well, probably on a female element as well, is a lot of the first encounters that, you know, a teenage girl gets on the back of a motorbike is with a boy with maybe a little bit of an ego, and they get on the back, they've got no control, they ride to show off, it's really scary, and then suddenly that person now hates motorbikes for the rest of your life. And the first encounter that young kids are going to have could set up their future perspective of motorbikes. So I really encourage you to really think about their enjoyment and making sure that you are thinking about them, not just you riding that bike. You're riding for two. Now, gear is really important. Now, something that I have really discovered in motherhood with a 15-month-old is how little ones almost idolize us, and they look to us for what they want to do. Like Skylar absolutely loves sweeping and cleaning and hoovering and putting my hat on her head because she sees me do it. So I encourage you to set by an example, lead by an example. If you are getting on your motorcycle, you want to be dressing for the slide, not the ride. You're always going to be wearing the right equipment, whether the big boots, the trousers, the body protection, the gloves, the helmet, and that's no different for them on the back. And you want to be thinking about making sure that the protection that you're using is the same protection that they're riding, because if you fall off, you're both going to be hitting the tarmac, and it is not worth it for a quick 5-minute blast to not think about that. And that even includes things like your hearing on a motorcycle. I have a video about the importance of protecting your hearing on a motorcycle. I do not get on a motorbike without hearing protection, and you can have permanent damage to your hearing for life in just 10 minutes on a motorbike. So why would it be any different to little young vulnerable ears to our adult ears? So making sure you're in the right kit is really important. It's okay if they wear slightly bigger stuff as long as it's safe and it's on, but not on a helmet. A helmet to grow into is not okay, because a helmet that moves around has a huge risk factor of, just know, make sure they're wearing the right kit. And lead by example. You then want to think about your bike setup. Does your bike have pillion pegs? If it doesn't have those, it's a no-go, because it's completely illegal to have someone on the back without pillion pegs. You might, if you're going on a bigger, longer ride with a bit more weight on the back, be wanting to think about your suspension setup and stuff like that. But ultimately, you're going to want to make sure you've got the pegs, you've got something for them to hold on to. You can get little like seat belts that go round you, that one can hold on and wrap around the child behind you to give them a bit more support, and also potentially give them something to hold on to. I honestly would say if they're not strong enough to hold on, you probably want to not think about having them on the back. That's really the first criteria, because the bikes move around and you want to make sure that they understand the importance of holding on and being safe. We then want to talk about actually having the pre-ride brief. Now, it's not as simple as I've got a bike, they've got the kit, let's go for a ride. You want this to set them up to have an enjoyable experience, and that pre-ride brief of how to even get on the bike, what communications you're going to have, all of that is really important. So how do you want them to get on the bike behind you? My recommendation would be that you get yourself on the bike first, because you've then got control and stability of the bike. Depending on your side stand, it might be strong, it might not be strong. You can potentially allow them to stand on the foot peg and put the whole body weight on it and climb onto the back of the bike behind you. It might be that that doesn't feel safe for you and you want to hold the bike upright, so you take it off the side stand, have it upright, get yourself nice and planted, holding onto the bike, and then have them climb on. Because they're going to be smaller, the likelihood is that they're always going to be putting their weight onto the peg and then climbing on, so you want to be ready to counterbalance. So pre-briefing them to do that movement quickly and smoothly, so that they're not just leaning on one side of the bike for a long period of time. That's really important. Once they get on, making sure that they know where that they're putting their foot, understanding the hot parts of the bike. So we've got a really hot exhaust pipe back here. We don't want their leg going back. That could be life-changing burns if their leg goes on that. Yes, they're wearing protection, but parts get really, really hot. Making sure they understand where they can hold on. The fact that it's okay if they want to hold onto your shoulders or around your waist, or hold onto your waist, or wrap on like a full little monkey, whatever feels comfortable for the two of you. Talk about it. You then have the communications. Now, I'm a big user of Cardo intercom, so on my helmet here I have a little intercom device, and if I was to be riding more frequently with someone, I would make sure that they had a intercom on the back as well, because it means you can just talk in real time and you can pre-warn them about things. If you think about riding a motorbike, you can see what's coming. You can see the fact that you're going to do a little swerve around a manhole cover or a pothole, or the fact that you're going to brake for the traffic lights. The person behind you doesn't get the same visibility, so being able to give them the input in advance before the bike changes direction can give them a lot more confidence. If you don't have the intercom, that's okay. You can shout depending on what speed you're going at. So you also then want to think about some communication tools that you agree in advance. So the grapefruit is what I have always used for when I want my pillion to get on and off. And there's a strict rule: you don't get on and you don't get off without the rider saying grapefruit and the other person repeating grapefruit. If you watch my how to ride with a pillion video, you'll see that. And it just helps having clear communication that unless that word is said, you don't go. Because if they think, oh, you stopped, I'll jump off, but your feet aren't quite planted in the gravel, you can then risk having a drop. You then might want to have a thumbs up, that every so often you both go thumbs up, we're both good. Maybe you want to have a double tap system where if they tap you on the shoulder a few times, it means, right, I want to pull over. Just talk about what your communications are. And I'd say you want to, you're okay, I want to pull over, slow down, a couple of things like that, just to make sure that you understand each other on the bike. And it might be, if you think you're going to do some big accelerations, you have a little like tap on their leg to let you know that there's going to be an acceleration, to give them a pre-warning that to hold on. So if you think about being on the back of a bike, when the bike accelerates, they're naturally going to go backwards, so they need to be ready to brace and hold on. First ride, some tips that I would suggest is you might be feeling really confident about going for a ride, and they might be feeling really confident about going for a ride, but I would just let them grow carefully. I would set your expectations that if you've got younger children, they might be all enthusiastic and say, yeah, I want to go for a ride, let's do it. But as soon as the engine turns on, whoa, I'm really intimidated, maybe I don't like it, and they might want to ride. Let it be a gradual journey. Don't just throw them straight into the deep end. Build them up to it. So I've already got Skylar around motorbikes at the moment. She sits on the seat. I can have like the engines on around her, and she's starting to feel comfortable around it. But if they're brand new to motorbikes, just the noise could be enough to put them off. So build them into it. I would suggest having a first ride with really low expectations on how far you go. Couple of meters even, if they're really small. And maybe plan a little loop. I've got a beeline navigation on my handlebars, and I'm just going to go into the app and say, right, give me a 10k loop, and it will plot a little 10k loop, and that's where we're going to go now with Chase. So thinking about a nice easy ride, going into really heavy traffic, things like filtering are all things that you probably want to avoid doing. So just think about where you are going to go and build their confidence slowly, build it with you. I think something that's really important to think about is that if you get these first rides right, you're going to infuse that love of two wheels into somebody else. And if they're in your family, if they're your children, your grandchildren, they could be your riding bunnies for many years. But if you rush them and scare them and do it too fast, you could put in a fear of motorcycles from the start. And unfortunately with young kids, once the fear sticks in, it can be really, really hard to get them out of it. And you might then have lost a riding buddy for life. So do it gently and kindly. So the next thing that I want to pre-warn you about, and I'm really, really sorry about this one, this is a big one, is the cost of having someone on the back of your motorbike, especially if they're your children or maybe your grandchildren. Because if they enjoy it, they're probably going to want their own motorbike, and they grow, which means they're going to want more kit, and it could get very enjoyably expensive. Sorry, not sorry, but pre-warning, if you want to get someone to enjoy motorbikes, they're probably going to want their own motorbike. So have a think about that. So I've done enough talking now. I think it's about time that Chase and I go for a ride. So he's got full boots, he's got jeans, jacket, helmet, and we are going to get on the back and go for a ride. So Chase is right here. I'm going to put my kit on as well. There's no point talking about all of this kit and then not wearing it, of course. And then we're going to take the KTM out for a ride. So this is a pretty wild bike because this is a fully automatic motorbike, which I'm not quite sure about yet. I haven't done many miles. I will be doing a full review of this bike on my channel, and there's a whole load of videos on my channel. You might have noticed from the birds and the gum trees behind me that I am actually in Australia. There's a whole series of stuff, including Tasmania, so check them out. I'm going to put this over my head. So you're hearing, that's going to go in your right ear. Perfect. Okay, let's get our helmets on. And then we've already talked about, you've been watching, so you know where the pegs are. We know to use the word grapefruit. Okay, cool. Ooh. Okay, right, you've got your boots, your trousers, your jacket, helmet. Do you want me to do it up for you? These B-rings. Does that feel tight enough?
Yeah.
Cool. You've got your gloves, I've got my gloves. You know the grapefruit. I have a key for the bike in my pocket. That would always help. And we are going to go for a ride. Whoop. So I will get on first, as discussed. I'm going to take it off the side stand. And then grapefruit, you may climb on up. There we go. Perfect. Okay, passenger ready? Thumbs up. 3, okay. Chase, my little buddy from down under, and let me know if you think there's anything I've missed, and also let me know, have you been for a ride with a little one on the back? What things surprised you? What did you enjoy about it? Did you get to ride on a bike with your mum or dad when you were younger, or your granddad, or your grandma, or your friends? I'd love to hear from you in the comments, but for now we are going to go that way and enjoy a little adventure.